Even though you may be killed resisting, the act of resistance on a metaphysical level has value. David Crowley completed a revised script of Gray State on June 2, 2013, and asked a select group of people to review the updated version of the story. On October 23, 2013, the rough cut of Gray State The Rise was finished and ready for review. Exporting the rough cut now, David Crowley wrote on Twitter, "So stoked." On December 9, 2013, Crowley added 6 months working on Gray State The Rise. It's finally taking its final form, but holy Moses, what a shit ton of work. David, Camille, and Rania Crowley moved into their new home in Apple Valley, Minnesota on December 13, 2013. On December 18th, David posted on Facebook that he had lost a crucial hard drive during the move to 1051 Ramsdale Drive. The only real loss after moving to a new house last weekend was a crucial hard drive for The Rise. I guess the next few weeks will be spent salvaging everything that was lost. The following day, he wrote, "File recovery sucks, but it's better than not having files to recover. This could take a few weeks." By December 27, 2013, the documentary film was getting back on track. Finally getting back on track with The Rise. She's been teaching me patience by making me work for the 660 missing clips that remain and crashing at least 6 times a day. The manuscript for Gray State was about to go through a serious revision on January 15, 2014. Some seclusion writing this weekend, David Crowley wrote on Facebook. For those of you who read the GS script, it's about to get gutted for the necessity of a clear, concise, entertaining, and effective film. For all the chewy details that are going to get cut, well, there's always the novel. 5 days later, on January 20th, the story for Gray State had completely changed. After 2 years of trying to extract the Gray State story, I think I finally may have done it. The story has completely changed, is working beautifully, and the new outline was completed in only the last 3 days. With this new story, it will not be hard to attract funding. The following day, David Crowley explained he had rediscovered the ending to the Gray State story. It's a strange experience finally feeling genuine love for characters I've created. The most painful part of writing the conflict for these people who are precious to me is that I must now torture them, punish them, and drag them through the dirt to reveal their essence of form. Yesterday morning, I rediscovered Gray State's ending, and the final feeling captured was of such gentle sadness, I've been stuck in it ever since. On January 22nd, 2014, David was still settling into his new home, spending today building 2 big fucking new desks to create a man cave mega desk, then relocating all of the Bullet Exchange inventory to my basement. On February 2nd, David explained the plot of the fictional film Gray State. Gray State, a wounded veteran leads the insurgency against a corrupt government after his city is put under martial law. The use of force, David Crowley posted on March 7, 2014, no matter the context, should be a shameful last resort, indicating an utter defeat of intelligent faculty. This is the difference between men and children, and also why our childlike society celebrates violence and its exercise of authority. The very next day, David wrote, "Sean Stone, yeah, that one, apparently wants a role in Gray State." 2 days later, on March 10, 2014, David was happily unsubscribing from liberty and conspiracy feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Too much of the backbiting derision they claim to oppose. See you guys. It's been fun. You'll still like Gray State, though. Then on March 11th, David asked the question, you know what liberty feels like? Unsubscribing from hundreds of Liberty or Death Fuck the NWO pages and Twitter accounts. This movie was steadily progressing on March 19th. Today, in place of thousands of post-it notes, David wrote on Facebook, pages of scribbles, and 30 feet of plot points, I have a 118-page script outline hybrid that may be only days away from a solid draft 1. The original Gray State story took 8 months of solid work. This story took less than 2 and is better in every way. On March 22nd, Camille was reading the first draft of the new Gray State script, according to David's post. On May 15, 2014, David spent a very welcome morning laying the groundwork for another 6 films I've been having ideas for. It's nice to finally be free from Gray State. Boy howdy. On May 22nd, David Crowley's dream had finally come true. It just happened. I'm not sure how many details I can divulge at this point, but Gray State will be optioned in the next 2 weeks at a major budget and connected with A-list talent. We are connected with a producer who above all else wants to preserve the film's pro-liberty ideals. This is all we could have hoped for and more. Thank you all for being our strongest selling point. Let's make a movie. On June 30th, posting as the Gray State page on Facebook, David Crowley gave an update on the Gray State movie. The past month, I've been meeting with some LA-based producers, crew, and other industry contacts, and together, we are building the team that will combine our passions and talent and belief in Gray State to optimize its message and reach of its exposure. This has been a truly exhilarating experience. My attorney and I are reviewing the option contract this week, and once that sucker is signed, this whole Gray State thing is going to finally, irretrievably, and monstrously take off for the stratosphere, and in such a way that the message will be preserved, and perhaps even continue in sequels, TV series, and video games. Seriously, talk about taking over the mainstream. This has been my life's work for nearly 4 years, and it is extremely gratifying to be backed by such a raging horde of superfans. Thanks for all your patience, guys. See you at the premiere. September 30th, David Crowley spent some time on Facebook answering questions from his supporters. It seems like there are a lot of questions and expectations about this project. For the next 20 minutes or so, I will answer your questions directly. There are 2 very important posts from David Crowley that were either deleted or have been hidden from public view. One post was made on December 9, 2014, and the other was dated September 30th, 2014. The missing post from September included a question by a supporter as well as an answer by David Crowley posting as Gray State. In this post, David Crowley mentions his plans for rebuilding a trustworthy team. Asked what his biggest holdup was with the fictional movie, Crowley responded, "I'm doing this myself. I say we and team a lot, but when it comes to nuts and bolts work, writing and leveraging the product into securing Hollywood money, it's just me. I hope to change this by reinvigorating the process and rebuilding a trustworthy team." Now, we still do not know who removed or hid this post from the Gray State Facebook page or why. Hopefully this post will reappear one day. Responding to a question about when the documentary Gray State: The Rise was going to be released, David Crowley responded, "The Rise suffered a catastrophic hard loss earlier this year. I'm working to get it back together, hopefully for a free online release. You guys deserve a little something. I really have to be careful though, because a mishandled doc release could absolutely sink production on the film or series. I'm treading carefully, making sure that everything works out for the best." September 30th was a very important day as David Crowley had big plans for 2015. Today's post represents the first visible beginnings of the Gray State resurrection. I can't get into too much too soon, but with the right amount of hard work, strategy, and miracle juice, the beginning of 2015 should see some amazing progress. Crowley also wrote about a new revamped website coming soon, and many of his last known conversations involved plans for the future of his projects. Over and over again on September 30th, 2014, David wrote about his vision for the Gray State franchise, a series which could be produced and released way faster than a film, has the potential to subvert the system. How can it not? Sorry guys, but Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones, while entertaining, lack a real-world purpose. Gray State will not fail you. How could it? Creating the Gray State franchise was David Crowley's full-time job, and he was doing everything he could to ensure the success of this franchise. It'll either be a great success story, a spectacular, highly visible failure, but either way, I guess we all put in our best shot, right? I guess that could be said about where the country is headed, too. The questions kept coming, and David Crowley answered as many questions as possible within those dedicated 20 minutes. Crowley was attempting to reach out directly to his supporters and doubters in order to address the criticism the project received for its multiple delays in production. Starting a Kickstarter campaign for future production costs is more evidence that David Crowley was actively planning for the future in September of 2014. We want to run a Kickstarter, but if we do, it'll be for a very specific purpose. like hiring a behind-the-scenes crew to document production, run live broadcasts, and give constant updates to the fans. I never wanted the fans to fund this. It's like making your kids pay for their own Christmas presents. David was still trying to get big budget funding for Gray State in September of 2014. I believe this shows David was not defeated by his earlier failures in Hollywood, as some have claimed. His words seem like those of a rejuvenated artist who had a story to tell and who wasn't going to stop until his concept for Gray State became a reality. Hopefully the strength of this project as a whole and what it represents with the people will help me get a big budget without sacrificing my intent. But hey, if I can't, then I will take it back to low-budget indie like the 2012 trailer. This too shows David Crowley had a plan B, just in case the big-budget dreams came crashing down. New developments have enhanced the project's honesty and dedication to its origins, wrote Crowley. This is going to be brutal. Crowley also reminded people to stay tuned for updates. We will keep the entire production process as wide open as possible. In response to the comment that it's been 3 years since Gray State was first developed, Crowley responded, "No, it's been a lot longer and there are years to go." In a separate comment, Crowley confirmed his long-term plans. The film is ready to go, but it may take forever and then still fail at any point in production. A series might be immediately tangible, and instead of interfering with the film, set it up for success a year or two down the road. Big picture stuff. More evidence. Now he's planning for a series that will lead into a film. More evidence of David Crowley planning for the future. Crowley's most challenging thing about the project was trailblazing this timeline. It's been either a very small team or just me alone working on this thing for years, trying to make it work. I do not just want this movie done so the fans can see it online. I want millions to get blindsided by it in theaters.